Hello everybody, Mannix here. Got a little knife versus video for you right here, right now. But first, feel free to subscribe, hit that little bell notification if you do not want to miss weekly knife and gun videos. This is going to be on the large G10 Espada, going head to head with its older brother, the extra large G10 Espada from Cold Steel. Both really fantastic big blades. Obviously, one of them is larger than the other. I'll let you decide, but you know, it's the 2020s. You got to be politically correct. One of these is objectively larger than the other one, but perhaps this extra large one could identify as being smaller than this one, so I guess that means it's smaller and the specs are completely wrong. But anyway, we're not going to get into that. Both of these are pretty much the exact same knife as far as their materials and overall profiles are concerned. Of course, we have a handful of minor differences here and there. The biggest one going to be the size and weight. But the long and short of this video is, if you want to fork over the extra $35-40 or so, and you just want that extra large size, that extra weight, the extra grip, that extra potential, the extra large one is for you. But if you want something a little bit more compact, but still a great defensive and or hard use tool, the large one is also excellent. But let's just get the specs out of the way real quick. For our large Espada on the upper right, according to Cold Steel's official website, it weighs 9.2 ounces, has a 5.5-inch blade, which is AUS 10A steel, both of them are, has a 6.75-inch handle with an overall length coming in at 12.25 inches or 12.25 inches. Retails at $229.99, but last I checked, as far as early 2024 is concerned, you can get them for about $110. Now, as for our extra large Espada Big Daddy, weighs 14.8 ounces, has a 7.5-inch blade, so a full 2 inches larger than our large blade. Again, also AUS 10A. Handle length is 9.25 inches or 9.25 inches. Overall length 16 3/4 inches or 16.75 inches. They both are wearing the triad locking mechanisms. They both have G10 handle scales. They're both tip-up carry. They're both completely ambidextrous. They both have thumb plates, also ambidextrous for deployment. They both have stonewash finishes. As you can see, they both have the same blade styles. Some would call it a clip point. Some will call it a trailing point. They both have the exact same traction plan on their G10 scales. Retails at $299.99, but in the aftermarket, currently, you can get them for about $140. So from what I'm seeing, $30 to $35 more for our XL in comparison to that large. Just by looking at the size and materials alone, the just sheer quantity we have going here, totally worth it. Totally worth the extra $35, even $40 if you just want to get that extra length. It's pretty substantial. It's not like you're just getting, you know, a 1/4 inch longer blade and like a 1/2 inch longer handle. This is a very large difference in size. Again, 2-inch longer blade. For starters, that's already a lot, but look at all this extra tail you're getting right here. Much larger pocket clip too. They both have somewhat different purposes behind them. What I'll tell you right off the bat is I really love both of them, but personally, my favorite one is this large one you're seeing right here, just because after handling the XL Espada, it feels almost like a compact little folder. It's very large. 5.5-inch blade is massive for a folding knife. Pretty large for a fixed blade to begin with, but still an excellent defensive tool. It's very large. It is waveable off of the pocket. You can open it up really quick. Razor sharp blade out of the package, and it is AUS 10A. Cold Steel does a great job with their heat treatments. Absolutely. Just marvelous and very good value too, just above $100 for all of this steel you're getting right here. Is very good deployment, very smooth action, outstanding rock solid lockup due to the triad locking mechanism. It's basically an improved lock pack with an integral stop pin, bomb proof, approaching fixed blade strength. These things are absolutely powerful locking mechanisms, some of the strongest on the planet, and they're very simple too. They don't suffer from too many part syndrome. They're very easy to produce. Ambidextrous. Looks like we have what I'm assuming is an aluminum backspacer behind here. They both have that. Thin, simple, slim, compact G10 handle scales, no steel liners. So for the size we're getting here, they're not that heavy. Actually, again, this one they're claiming is 9.2 ounces, if I remember correctly. Let's just see what my scale has to say about that. See what we got here. 9.38 ounces, so pretty close on that. And just for giggles, it's also measure this guy right here. Gotta be careful. It's a lot of blade. That large spot is already very large. This thing is just absolutely ridiculous. Gotta be very careful with it. Give it a lot of clearance there so don't cut yourself. On their website, they were saying it weighed 14.8 ounces. Let's find out what my scale says. 15.16 ounces. So just a little bit heavier. It's teetering up to 15.17. It looks like massive, massive. Basically just under a pound. Pretty much everything I love about the large Espada G10, again, carries on to the extra large Espada. Same materials, pretty much the same ergonomics, same blade styles, same finishing, same locking mechanisms. That's basically it. That's the short version of the video right there. If you like this Espada, you just want something a little bit longer, a little bit bigger, and you don't mind getting that extra weight, which you probably should expect if you're going to get a knife that's larger. There you go. The extra 30 bucks, totally worth it. But what I will say, horrible everyday carry knife. Absolutely the worst everyday carry knife I've ever had, but probably the best tactical blade I've ever had. And then you get into legalities. That's a whole nother thing. I'm not even going to talk about that for this video. I've explained it before, and I've given my opinion on it before. Other people on the internet have given their opinion on it before, and opinions are pretty much worthless. I say we all have an opinion, and everybody's always contradicting each other. Everybody's always attacking each other over each other's opinion. It's really bad over the internet. It gets worse every single year, and it's probably only going to keep getting worse until the entire world is annihilated of human life because people kill each other because they don't like each other's opinions. So I'm not even going to go there, but basically, as far as legalities are concerned, this could get you in trouble, even if you lawfully defended yourself, because your jury might not like the scary knife and just ignore everything you have to say, even if you were not doing anything wrong and you absolutely were 100% obeying the law and obeying the carry laws, and you did lawfully defend yourself, you may still get in trouble anyway. Your defense case may completely get thrown off because this looks scary, and that'll be the end of the argument. So not really sure, but let's say if we were in like a post-apocalyptic type situation and laws are just out the window, don't even exist anymore, hell yeah, I'm gonna take this XL Espada. 7.5 inch cutting edge on there. Massive, massive grip. I mean, look at this. I can hold this with both of my hands. I don't have massive hands or anything, but they're large size as far as gloves are concerned. I can grip both of my hands on this handle on there and still have extra room. It's like a mini sword at this point. It's just beastly. It's absolutely massive. I can choke up here. You can go all the way down here if you want maximum reach. You just want to hold it with one hand. And of course, you can choke up even more so up here if you want to do some precision style work, I suppose, with this knife. Lots of options right here. Lots of versatility, a lot of different positions you can hold it in. Fantastic, fantastic. A lot of room to grip this onto when it's in your pocket. You can just see right there, that's what's going to be poking out. Pretty clear that's a knife that's going to be gleaming right there. It's not blackened or anything. So it's going to be pretty obvious you have a knife on you. People are going to notice that, even non-knife people. But this means you have a lot to grip onto, and damn, this is easy to wave off of the pocket. You have so much room here, so much to grip onto. It's very easy to get this snagged on your pocket and deployed quickly. It'll be thwacked open very fast and just around your leg. Just be careful. Don't injure anyone else while you're deploying it that way. Don't injure yourself while you're deploying it that way. It is a liability, but if you're practiced, if you're trained with this knife, it's not an issue. Just like any weapon. If you practice, you'll be a-okay, just like any other tool. This guy, on the other hand, a little bit less to grip onto here, just significantly less poking out of your pocket. Something like that. That's about what you're going to be seeing. Yeah, significant difference there. Still pretty easy to grip onto. It's not like a loop over clip or anything. You have a little bit of something to grip onto, just about right here. And because that pocket clip is designed to kind of levitate above your pocket because it plateaus right here before it pinches down, it also gives you just a little bit more clearance, in my experience anyway, with my pants I wear, cargo pants for reference. So it doesn't accidentally snag on to my pocket as I'm trying to pull it out like some pocket clips do. No issues with this. Still very, very easy to snag, wave off, deploy as you extract it. I said this before, but it feels so compact after handling that XL Espada. It's just nuts. Even though this is a massive, massive, massive folding knife. It just feels really tiny after handling that one. It's funny. Do it. Get both of these knives and feel much easier to deploy and extract regardless of having less space there, just because it's so much more compact. It's going to be less of a liability. Less things can go wrong. It's going to be quicker. Thwacking it open after it's already in your hands, if you don't want to wave it off of your pocket, is going to be significantly easier than with that extra large Espada. I'm just going to give it one good thwack here. There we go. Not entirely that difficult either. I mean, it's heavier, but the momentum from the blade just kind of does the work for you. You just have to thwack it a little bit differently. The technique's a little different, but they're both not hard to deploy. A lot more to grip onto. Easier to wave off of the pocket, I'm going to say, just because you have more to grip onto here. It just kind of does the work for you, but it's more of a liability. It's a little bit more dangerous. There's a lot more cutting edge going here. If this is already in your hand and deployed, that's great for you and bad for whoever's on the receiving end of the edge. But that also means if it's not deployed yet and you're trying to deploy it, it could just be a liability and an issue for you and other people around you who do not deserve to be attacked by it for whatever reason. This guy, a little bit more controllable, a little bit more easy, a little bit more fast in the hand, more compact, and still 5.5 inches of blade, man. You can choke all the way down here. You still have a lot of reach. It's still pretty significant for a folding knife anyway. But if we're measuring butt to butt, tip to tip, we got this much more reach. That's not just counting in the extra cutting edge we have. We just have that much more reach on our XL if we were to hold it at the very, very lowest possible point. Yeah, you can kind of just do the math yourself. Certainly a lot more significant on our Espada XL, but still a lot of cutting edge. And you're saving a good 30, 35 bucks or so with this guy. You're saving a lot of weight too. It's going to be significantly more light, more easy to carry. Again, just more compact, less poking out of your pocket, a little bit less obnoxious, less cumbersome. Lockup's pretty much spot on, exactly the same on both of these guys. They both have the exact same locking mechanism. And the funny thing is on the Espada, they did not increase the length of it at all. So despite the large on the right here being significantly smaller, the locking mechanisms are the exact same size as far as I can see. Now, I think the reason they did that was, I have a video on this, but the longer you make a lockback style knife, doesn't matter if it's a triad or a lockback, it is technically going to be weaker if you do not increase the size of the torsion bar as well. But it actually looks like the torsion bar is a little bit larger on the XL Espada, so that's going to make it even stronger. So not only did they not increase the size of the lock bar, they increased the size of the torsion bar for the lock bar. Long story short, we actually have a stronger locking mechanism here probably, but it's going to most likely just be negated due to the fact that the blade's that much larger and heavier. So I'm not going to say either locking mechanism's stronger on either of these knives. It's pretty much just going to be the same. Absolutely invincible, no questions there. No issues with either locking mechanism. They're both very comfortable. I love the medium side traction they got on the G10. They're not going to shred your pocket up or anything, but they're not going to be goofy and fly out of your hands when they're sweaty either. These are both fantastic knives. I love them both, and that's why I own both of them. Otherwise, I would have just picked one and sold the other or traded it or something. Who's the winner here? Overall, I like the large Espada a little bit more. It's just more manageable despite still being an absolutely gigantic folding knife. They're both beautiful. They're both very simple. They both work very well. They deploy well. They have good lockups. They carry well. They're both ambidextrous. They're both affordable. They're both nice and slim too. Actually, funny thing is that the XL Espada is not really much thicker. In fact, it's almost the exact same thickness despite being that much more wide and taking up that much more surface area, as you can see. But it's just as ergonomic and you have more versatility, more options with the XL. It's just going to be more cumbersome. It's going to be a little bit more of a liability to you. You are going to have to practice and train with this thing to be safe with it and to use it effectively. And although if this was already in my hands, already deployed, already locked and ready to go, yeah, I would obviously pick this over that. The problem is getting to that point, getting it out of my pocket, into my hand, and deploying it safely without hurting myself or anyone else who does not deserve to get hurt. Fuck the bad guy. If I'm trying to attack them, I want to attack them, defend myself against them lawfully. Please don't delete my channel, YouTube, for saying I want to lawfully defend myself. I know I'm such a criminal. That's the way we are in the 2020s, but that's the issue with the XL Espada. But the novelty factor is there too. The coolness factor easily goes to the XL Espada, no questions asked. The biggest, most massive folding knife I've ever seen, ever owned, that's made by a production folding company. I'm sure there's some custom-made knife somewhere that's like $2,000, that's way bigger, awesome. But if you want something that's affordable and manageable, that's the one to get if you want something that huge. I just don't know of any other manufacturer that makes anything even close to this size within this price range, within this quality level. Is really, really cool. But again, for more conventional, realistic uses, I think you're going to be better off with the large Espada, which is still a huge folding knife, by the way. You can deploy it quicker. It's just a little bit less of a danger to you or other people around you. In court, it's not going to look as bad, I don't think, as the extra large Espada, depending on your jury, depending on the situation, etc. And hey, if nothing else, you save a little bit of weight, you save a little bit of money. But the long and short of it, XL Espada is literally the same thing as the large Espada, but it's just bigger. They didn't change any of the materials or any of the construction. It's pretty much the exact same thing. The hardware is exactly the same. Look at that. Same screw sizes, same locking mechanism again. Pocket clip is different though. We have a much bigger, this has got the Raja 2 treatment on, just a big fat pocket clip right there. What are your thoughts on both of these knives? Do you have a favorite? Are there any advantages and or disadvantages I missed in this video? Do you own either of these knives? Do you own both of them? What do you think? What are your experiences? Please let me know in the comments down below. They're always interesting to read, and I'm always learning things from you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Mannix out.